Good evening, fellas. Today I'm gonna go over about why you should read Berserk if you haven't already. And if you're unfamiliar with Berserk, I'm gonna give you a brief introduction right now. Berserk is a story about a young, jacked swordsman slaying his enemies down with a blade almost too big to be considered a sword. He's brandmarked by his unbreakable will to fight and survive. A character every man wants to become, whether they admit it or not. Charging at his enemies without any hesitation, he is feared but at the same time admired by many. Completely devoted to his mission, his body will always break before his will does. Despite making his enemies shiver in fear, you can't help but melt at his smile. The archetype of the ideal man. So, now we can see that it's basically a story about a guy with a gigantic sword slaying monsters, bad guys, sometimes good guys, and you think to yourself, well, that sounds rather generic. Why would I read that? Well, to be fair, Berserk was kind of the first thing of its own genre, that is dark fantasy, but there is more to that thing than just a gigantic guy wielding his gigantic flaming sword. Now you may ask yourself, what is that? Let's find out. Guts is a young mercenary that knows nothing but swinging his sword to survive. Built through hardship, he embodies what one needs to become in order to survive in a world as cruel as his. Never having had a friend, he clings tightly onto his sword, that being the only thing giving him any sense of comfort and security. While being a capable swordsman, he's unable to form relationships with people due to his poor social skills and traumatic life experiences. That is, until he meets the Band of the Hawk, a group of mercenaries that seems a little different from the ones he's used to, and a new chapter in his life begins. You're following the path of a young man facing the most fundamental worldly endeavors while also getting in touch with otherworldly obscurities. A very violent but also a very philosophical journey. Discovering what life in its essence really is, but also discovering what life can become. How much can a human being take without losing his humanity? Now, I don't want to dive too deep into the plot because it's gonna spoil way too much of it. I want to keep your experience as fresh as possible. What I am gonna say, however, is that Berserk has phenomenal character development, phenomenal relationships between the characters, a very abstract storyline, which I really love abstract stories. I just can't get over like fucking normie bullshit. Besides the abstract storytelling, the phenomenal characters, deep philosophical and religious theme that Berserk has, it actually has many great comedic aspects as well. Some scenes are gonna have you sitting like this. Another great benefit of reading Berserk is that you can be a fucking geek, but people still respect you as a decent human being, and they don't see you as a complete fucking dork because of its brutality and brutal nature. And if you're one of these people who just can't really tolerate the brutal nature of Berserk and you're just somewhat soft for that, all I can say to you is get fucked. Don't even get me started about the soundtrack. The soundtracks are an entity themselves. Like, they're known in meme culture without people actually diving into Berserk. You've heard the soundtracks like hundreds of times probably in all sort of meme videos. And for good reason, because they are just god tier soundtracks. So, in conclusion, we have a manga which has phenomenal storytelling, phenomenal characters, phenomenal character development, phenomenal relationships, a phenomenal theme that goes within it, a good amount of brutality, but also a good amount of wholesome scenes, lots of good comedic scenes. I would recommend you watch the 1997 anime. The other adaptations just didn't really appeal to me that much. And then you're also gonna have that bombastic soundtrack, which is just on a whole level on its own. So why the fuck are you still watching my video and not reading Berserk? I hope you had lots of fun watching my video. I wish you a great evening, bro. Have a good one.